Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Flipping the Classroom, brought to you by Mrs. Restel from RestelZone.com. Today we're focusing on recognizing genre in writing. We are identifying narrative writing, expository writing, and argumentative writing. So let's go ahead and get started. So when the classroom is being flipped, there's some things I need you to make sure you have. Things to write with, pencils and pens, of course, earbuds and headphones. If you don't have your notes, plain paper is just fine. Make sure you're not going to be distracted during this video. Please contact me when things are not working. And if there's ever a chance or a time where you cannot finish your video, I don't want an excuse. Think of a solution, like coming to see me for morning tutorial, which I have every single day, or coming to see me during advisory, using the school library, public library, another phone from a family member. But please make sure you do get it done. So how do you contact me? So please contact me either through email, but the fastest way is signing in and contacting me through Jupiter.com. You can also visit RestelZone.com and fill in the contact information, and I will get the information from you. I do want to say before we begin to thank you very much for watching this video. As always, I couldn't do it without you, so I do appreciate your time. You will need your notes, a pencil or a pen, and paper if you've forgotten your notes at school. Remember, you are in control. I do want you to subscribe so you don't have to keep looking for the link because it'll all be put on my YouTube channel. But if I'm going too fast or you need time to write, pause me. You can rewind and fast forward. Do not put me on mute. I want to make sure that you hear what I'm saying, and it's pretty important. Okay? So, let's get started. If you already have the notes for narrative writing, you're going to go ahead and fast forward this part. For those of you who do not, narratives tell a story. They introduce characters, whether they are real or imaginary, human or android or animal. But these characters go through conflicts, and they're usually resolved by the end of the story unless it's a cliffhanger. The author's purpose of writing these narratives basically is to entertain you. Now, you may feel like this little guy right here and think it really isn't entertaining, but it doesn't change the fact that the author is trying to make sure that you are entertained by the story, the narrative that they are telling. It is time to write, and we're going to write the first part up here, characteristics and examples, in our donut section. So, we're going to do characteristics first. I want you to write down 3 characteristics and 2 examples. So we're going to go with the characteristics first and write down the entire line. Choose 3. So narrative writing, basically, it always will tell a story whether it's real or not. Again, it can be fictional or non-fictional. It'll always include plot elements. I gave a couple of examples just in case you don't remember what I'm talking about when I say plot elements, but you've done this before. It'll have the exposition, rise in action, fall in action, of course, the characters, setting in conflict, and climax. It'll be in order, chronological order of the events unless there's a flashback. There'll be sensory details like imagery, basically talking about touch, taste. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? And then, of course, it can be reflective. Examples of narrative writing will include short stories, novels, memoirs. Of course, we have basically personal narratives too. Narrative journals, diaries, autobiographies are just a few examples. There are, of course, more, but you're only writing down 2, and we'll go over more in class as we go through the unit. So here's a little tip from me to you. Whenever you get a narrative piece in class, whether it's from the T&E Ready test or whether it's just from me, when you get these narrative prompts, there are usually 2 kinds of narrative prompts. They're either, hey, read the story, so continue it and give me a new event, same characters, or it's, hey, read the story, tell me the story again in a different point of view. Okay? So let's look at 2 examples. You've just read the story, Cecilia and Eddie. Retell the story as if you were writing about it in your diary, presenting events and details from your particular point of view. You may invent other details such as feelings or memories as long as these are consistent with the original story. You're writing it now in your point of view, but you're writing it as if you were dealing with some events that are from Cecilia and Eddie, but you can put new ones down as long as it's part of the story that you've read before. The next text we would have read, so based upon the story, The Animal Kingdom, what do you think might happen next? Continue the narrative using details from the story to shape the plot. Include Tom Collier as one of the characters and involve at least one other character introduced so far. So again, you read the story, what happens next, use the same characters, and go for it. Okay, those are 2 examples. Time to write again. You are writing in the keywords and prompt section. By the way, here's a little copy of the plot chart that you have in your notes. So, keywords for narrative prompts. You are writing down 3 examples, and basically if you ever see these keywords, you know that it's a narrative prompt. So here we go. If they tell you to, and I have 10 examples for you, you can write down 3, to write a story or develop a character or imagine this has happened or tell about a time or recall a time when this has happened, you are telling a story. You're writing a narrative. If they ask you to write in a different point of view, a different perspective, or to create a conflict, any of these things, what happens next, you are writing a narrative. So these keywords kind of give you that little extra edge. All right. So again, is it time for you to pause? It's okay if it is. Go ahead and hit pause for me so you can get your notes written down. What you're going to get from me too as well, you're going to get a copy of this cute plot chart to put in your notebook. You're going to get a little mini poster. It's not going to be in color though. I'm going to put that out there. But this mini poster is for you, but you also have another one, a smaller one on your notes too as well. I didn't really explain it because the way you organize narrative writing for your essays is you write a plot chart. So you draw that triangle and then you keep going. All right. So that is why I'm showing you a plot chart for the organization. Time for expository writing. Here we go. So for expository writing, ladies and gentlemen, basically it is used to report information. So it kind of falls under or over the umbrella. It's actually the umbrella of informational writing. Information that goes under expository writing. Use facts and details, and you can explain how about a topic, why, or even what. The author's purpose of expository writing is to explain and to inform the readers about the topic that you're reading about. Time to write. We're in the characteristics and examples section where the donuts are. And the same as last time, you are writing for me 3 examples, three characteristics, and 2 examples. So there are lots for expository writing. So let me go ahead and put them out there for you. Always nonfiction, always objective, okay? No opinions at all. Facts and information is a central idea. It may have topic and supporting details. It should, not may. It'll explain how, why, and what. Is evidence-based, a lot of data. You will elaborate and explain your evidence. And a lot of times for an essay, you'll write a thesis statement. Let's talk about examples. If they're telling you to compare and contrast or do a problem and solution essay, it's expository. If they ask you to do or you will see something that's a how-to or directions or a manual, it's expository. All nonfiction books and textbooks, biographies, scientific journals, encyclopedias, those are all expository. And then lastly, objective, no opinion, objective news articles and magazines, just reporting information. Those are also examples of expository writing. There are many prompts, so I can't give you a little hint on this, but I'm just going to talk to you about 2 prompts. So let me read 2 of them to you, and this is how you'll know, hey, this is an example of expository writing prompt. In both the passage, Robert Ignacio Torres is a baker, and the passage, The Dreamer, the authors describe characters who feel the need to keep their dreams a secret. Write an essay that examines how Poppy and Nefertali change. Remember to include evidence from the passages to support your response. You're basically telling me how they both change, and you're putting that in your essay and talking about how the authors basically do the change. So you're explaining. The next prompt. After reading the articles about sound and modern technology, write an essay explaining how the process of refining and marketing the phonograph is similar to the process of compact disc in the rise and fall of the CD. Use evidence from all 3 articles in your response. So you have 2 articles on sound and modern technology, 1 article on the rise and fall of the CD, on the compact disc, basically, and you're comparing both of those and saying how they're similar. That is an example of expository writing. A couple more notes, 3 more in the section of keywords and prompts, and then we're done. So keywords and prompts in expository writing, things you'll always see or often see, not always, often see. You're writing down 3 examples for me. I'm going to give you 10. If you see define, explain how, summarize, trace, tell how, it's expository. Okay, especially define. If you see, describe the impact of, or identify similarities and differences, or tell me the cause and the effect, basically the same thing, or analyze the causes of, or not the same thing. The same thing with similarities and differences is compare and contrast. Sorry about that. And also determine the way something's done. You're doing expository writing. Last thing, how do we organize expository writing or informational writing? We organize it by using PIL. You have a small mini copy. You'll get this copy later on with point, evidence, explanation, or elaboration, and link. PIL your paragraphs. That's how you organize your graphic organizer for your expository writing. Lastly, argumentative writing is last. We're almost done. So, argumentative writing uses facts, data, and evidence to basically support the author's claim or the position or stance on a given topic. Basically, the author's job is to convince you or convince the reader or persuade the reader to side with the author on the author's claim. Notes, donut section, characteristics and examples. Here we go. In argumentative writing, remember 3 characteristics and 2 examples. You can pause me anytime. You have to have a claim, counterclaim, and rebuttal in argumentative writing. It is fact and opinion based, so subjective and objective, but these opinions are basically proven with evidence and data. It's persuading. It is nonfiction, and your reasoning has to be logical. Examples, too fast. Examples, argumentative essays, written debates, evidence-based editorials. There are some speeches that are also argumentative. Some of these reports, as long as they have evidence to support them, and literary critiques when you're writing about a review, basically, on a portion of something that you've read. Sample prompts. And there are many samples. You have just read energy drinks harmful or harmless and the effects of energy drinks on the body. Should the government ban the consumption of energy drinks? Write an essay with logical reasoning and evidence from the articles to support your claim. Another example, based upon the article, social media, helpful or harmful, and your phone is not your life, write an essay that justifies your side on the topic. Use facts and evidence from the articles to support your perspective. The difference between argumentative and persuasive is you're using evidence and using facts. It's not about necessarily how you feel. Even though your feeling is in there, you don't really say, I feel. You write on the topic, and you want to convince them in this debate that you're writing about with evidence. Time to write. We are writing our last section in keywords and prompts right here. And the keywords and argumentative prompts are kind of the same almost in every one. And again, you're writing down 3 examples for me as shown. Here are 9 examples. So, they tell you to develop an argument, justify your stance, use evidence to support your perspective, or state a claim. These are all things they would say in argumentative writing prompts. If they're asking you if you're for or against, or pro or con, they ask you to debate the issue. If they're asking you which opinion is valid, or identify reasons for this argument, or telling you to choose a side, you're going to write an argumentative essay, okay? So those are all examples in the prompt. Lastly, our school uses Circa for our graphic organizer for argumentative writing, okay? So you're going to get a copy of this. You're actually going to get one that's actually more in depth. You'll be able to write things in. But basically, claim, evidence, reasoning, counter-argument or counter-claim, and of course, your audience. By the way, in that counter-argument, you have to have a rebuttal. By the way, this is just a little secret message for you. I want you to use some paper, and I want you to go ahead, and I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to tell me the differences between argumentative writing, narrative writing, and expository. Just give me 2 differences. And if you are, during my class, the first person to give me that paper you've written down with the differences on there, 2 for each, differences for each, I will give you a donut in class. Don't tell anybody, it's a secret. Okay, I have 30 seconds. In these 30 seconds, I want to say your notes should already be done. That's all the notes right there. I want to say thank you again for watching. And, of course, this was Recognizing Genre from the Restel Zone, RestelZone.com. Thank you. And I will see you next time, or I will hope you hear me next time, in the classroom from Mrs. Restel. Thanks, guys.